Hey, this is Jim the GM, and I'm here tonight doing Season 2, Episode 3 of our Prince series, The Food, the Glad, and the Muddy. Tonight I've got with me Caleb and Eric and Jeremy and Clyde. Let's go ahead and start with Clyde. Remind us of your character.
I am playing Thane Brighthammer, the Dwarf Paladin of Vengeance, in all things smashy.
Wonderful. Eric.
Muted.
Very muted.
It is a red letter day, the only time in history that Eric has shut up.
He probably...
What?
Oh,
What? I was no, I was trying to open up a document and it just froze my computer.
okay. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay, now what did you want us to do? Because I didn't hear anything past you saying Clyde.
Go ahead and introduce and remind us of your character.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Eric, and I will be playing for you the half-elf cleric Jokar High Trathan. What I get out right there. Trathan. Last time, I believe it was Caleb's character. Yes. Teaching the king and all of his kingly abilities. And who knows what could lead next.
Cool. Caleb, go ahead.
Right, hey, I'm Caleb. I am playing Evermind Aldeonde, otherwise known as Creech. Last session was sort of his teaching moment. I'm sure there will be others throughout the course of these sessions. However, it was focused, and he had the ability and spent the time with the young prince, teaching him how to discern in the middle of basically protecting his mind, being able to read between the lines or figure out, basically giving him a better thoroughness when it comes to being insightful. Since then, yeah, we'll just leave it there. Come
Great.
back later.
Great. And today's game, teaching our prince, is Jeremy. Go for it, Jeremy.
I'm Jeremy, and I'm playing the fearless to the point of reckless monk who loves to eat and help people, Thanadale Braddock, otherwise known as Than. And let's get this underway.
Wonderful. Jeremy, let's go ahead and start with the scene for you. Just to kind of set up how Prince Arene is looking for you, or is looking. After spending those months with Creech, the prince has a noticeably different visage. He's very keen, but as people talk, you can tell that he's scrutinizing the words that people are saying. You can tell that he's in the process of finally learning that not everybody is always telling him all the information. Not everybody is always being completely forward with him, and he's trying to discern what is being said. And as you work with him, and as you teach him, and as you talk with him, you'll find that Prince Arene is very, very interested in what you have to say, but there's always that hint of scrutiny to your words.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry, I got a severe thunderstorm warning. All right. So, is this scene taking place somewhere? Or
Wherever you would like it to be.
all right. Well then, here we go. Hey, wake up in there, sleepyhead.
Rolling over. Oh,
And
Master Than.
the prince is in this basically tiny shelter. It's not even 5 feet tall. It's mostly used by Than in his camp to sleep. So it's not comfortable if you're doing anything other than laying on the sleeping bag that Than has. He's had the prince out in the woods for a couple months now, trying to teach him the ways of living off the land and how to be helpful and just, take care of himself and take care of others. He's going to be a prince someday, or hopefully he'll be the king someday. So, you want him to understand the plight of his people. So Dan is kind of peeking in. He's actually been sleeping outside as long as the prince has been here. Good morning, your princeliness. I've got a couple of those eggs left. Boiled them up this morning. You want to grab a couple and then catch up with me? That would be great. Hopefully your training helps you out.
Boiled, if there's anything that I have learned from my time with you, it is that boiled eggs can never get old.
That's good to hear. Boiled eggs and sweet potatoes. That's what I like.
I've noticed. And he's climbing out and putting on his trousers and pulling over a shirt and jacket.
And Than is basically stepping into the woods, just basically going to leave the prince behind and see if his survival skills are good enough to track him down.
Cool. So, as you've gone out, from the prince's perspective, he's gone over, grabbed some eggs, come back to where you were, and you're gone.
Right.
And he's looking around. You watch him just eat the eggs like there's no flavor to him. He's just supposed to eat them now. And he sits down, and time passes. 15, 20, 30 minutes. And finally, he stands back up, looking at your lean-to. And he says, I can find my way back. Where did he go? And he starts following you, or trying to follow the tracks through the woods. And he disappeared. Oh no, sorry.
Nope, I'm here.
Jeremy, are you being stealthy through the woods?
Than is actually moving ahead. Somewhat stealthy, but he's not trying to make it too difficult. But, he wants to know that the king is able to find his way.
Okay. His first roll following you. Oh, man, he gets lost right off the bat. He rolls that natural one with a total of 4, and he gets very lost. This puts him about 20 minutes behind. As you're sitting and waiting, he's going to be at least 20 minutes behind finding you. The prince tries to backtrack and is absolutely able to backtrack to where he was. He's able to go all the way back to the lean-to and goes for a round 2, following those tracks, trying to make sure that he's not following his own tracks. This time he has a 17. And so he's following along, noticing where he got lost, and where your tracks obviously went the other direction. And he just feels foolish for missing such an obvious marker. And he will continue to follow you. About how far out did you go?
Than would have gone to a small village, Adler. Than wouldn't be just out in the open. A few days ago, there was a pretty bad storm, so when the prince gets into town, he'll see that there's quite a bit of lumber around and some damage to several of the houses.
Okay.
There are people around just doing some repairs. People trying to help.
Is it a couple of days from where you were? Is
Oh
it
no, it's a couple hours.
okay? Oh, he is just not feeling up to par right now. For everything he taught that you taught him, he's keeping it in mind. He just seems to be mixing up his information. Does it? If I see it, this moss grows on the south side of trees. And wait, uh, wait. And he's starting to get back on track and following you. A couple of hours actually turns into about 3.5 for him.
All right.
As my rolls are absolutely starting off terribly. Here's hoping that, for your guys' sake, it continues. All right, cool. So yeah, about 3.5 hours later, only an hour and a half after you expected it, he finds his way. You see that he is hot. He is carrying his jacket over his shoulder. His shirt is undone halfway down his chest. His hair is matted against his head. He is very hot and uncomfortable, seeing as how after you woke him up, this would put it at about 11 o'clock.
All right.
Coming into town, seeing people. He's asking around, trying to find out if there's anything more. Seeing all this wood, seeing everybody working, remembering the storm, but not realizing it had gotten this bad and affected people like this. He starts asking around and finally finds you.
And when he finds Than is actually on the beach. He is fishing. Hey, I figured you'd help some people.
Okay. Where are we again?
This is Adler.
Adler.
Haven't you been here?
No. Judging from how far, and you watch him look up, look around the mountains, look at the sea. Judging from where we are, this may be one of the furthest towns from my home. I have not been here. And maybe, and he stops and goes, maybe that's a good thing. Because he is always watching. And if he ever, how would Creech say it? Never mind. But if people knew I was here, or at least people here knew who I was, that could be bad. This may be very good for me. Yes. So just help people. Are you going to help too, sir?
I am helping. I'm getting some food for the guys.
Very well, then, Master Than. And he turns, and you watch him as he helps people rethatch roofs, fix windows, mend boats, mend fences, and you watch a couple come up to him with fish on sticks to help. About an hour and a half after he came into town, feeding him for helping them eat or for helping them. This continues on all the way until sundown. At which point, the prince, his sunburn has gotten worse.
Than would like to examine his carpentry. How's it coming along with the woodworking?
As you check his woodworking, you're finding that he's not a master of any sorts, but you can see that he has the know-how to put it together, to figure out how to make something work. As he's helping with the fences, you're realizing that as it comes to an issue with maybe a broken post, he's found a way to make another rather than trying to just mend the one that's broken. He is going out of his way to give back to the people something of at least the quality that they had, as close as he can give.
You're doing a good job. And just wait till you see the reward we got.
Reward?
Reward, yeah. That house over there. That belongs to my aunt, Lucille.
This is your hometown.
Oh, no. My aunt lives here.
Oh, okay. Well, sounds good to me. And he continues helping them out for the rest of the day.
And
Until you come to stop him.
yeah. Than will actually, after catching fish, he will help the prince and just keep an eye on him, watch his work, make sure everything, looks secure. And here soon, we're probably going to meet with everybody if everything is satisfactory. The time will come to meet
Or are you talking about the rest of our characters?
the rest of our characters.
All right.
Probably not tonight, but we're coming on that time as the prince has come along.
Do you want them to meet you here in this town?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let's have Jakar and Creech and Thane roll initiative for me.
2.
Okay. Anybody else? 12 for Creech. And 2 for Thane. How about Jakar?
6.
6. All right, everybody's showing up tomorrow. So, at the end of the day, at this point, having taken off the shirt, Prince Arene comes up and he goes, I don't think I've ever been this tired, Master Than.
It's hard work out here. But I've got something that'll fix you right up. You just wait for everybody else, and I've got a big surprise for everyone. It's gonna be exciting.
All right.
And Than is going to go to his aunt's house.
And Arene will follow you.
Then, just stay in the dining room. It's gonna be a surprise. It'll be great.
Okay, fine. I'll go get my shirt and jacket and be back. And you watch him as he leaves. So what are you doing while he's gone?
Than is cooking.
All right. And about 20 minutes later, he comes back in, and you hear laughter from outside of the door. Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you. Oh, it was my pleasure. Certainly my pleasure. Have a peaceful day. Did I miss it? Master Than, did I miss it? As he comes in.
Of course not. We're just waiting for everyone else.
All right. And so you're going to cook through the night?
Oh, are they showing up tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, then Than would not be cooking his big surprise.
Okay. So then he will sit with you and talk with you and take another chance to learn from you over the night.
And
then sleep hard.
Yeah. Most of the comments would be about how he could have tracked him a little better. Just reminding him of ways of making it through the woods and about the food there. What berries are good to eat.
All right. And the next day, excuse me, bright and early at 7:30 in the morning, um, you hear some noise outside, a little bit of a hubbub and a murmur from outside in the town. It's their surprise. Oh my! Did you see that man? Oh my, he looked so strange. He must not be from around these parts. I would be careful around him if I were you.
Than will hurry out to see what all the hubbub is.
You find that Creech has walked into town, finding him coming out of the forest, and it's like, surprise, right out of the edge of the wood. He finds himself in this beach, oceanside village.
So does Than see Creech?
Oh, yes.
Oh, Than is excited and just rushes towards Creech. Arms spread open.
Creech is looking through a little wooden box, and he's kind of rifling through it. And he, out of the corner of his eye, the tops of his eyes, really, he sees this figure running towards him. And he just kind of looks. He closes his box very quickly and puts his the little box into his pack. He sits there and is just kind of with his arms down at his side, braces for impact.
And Than just rushes in and attempts to hug Creech. Ah, it's been so long. How you been?
Yeah, it's good to see you, Than.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. What do you? Can you put me down? This is a little awkward for me.
Of course, I'm kind of surprised I can even pick you up, but I've been training really hard.
It's just, well, that makes two of us. But anyway.
That makes three of us. I've had his princeliness here.
I was just about to ask you. He's here. Or how are you guys getting along?
You see that fence over there?
It looks, yes.
He put that post right there, third one from the left.
That one post? He did that?
Well, he did a few of the other ones, but that one I remember seeing him do.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, that's it looks great. Fan, it looks great.
That's what I told him. He's doing really well. He didn't die out in the woods. I'm pretty proud of him for that.
That's that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And Creech is just like, okay, here we are. Yeah, we're happy that he didn't die and he made that post. All right.
Wait, you left him alone in the woods?
Well, I'm still imagining, like, Than still has his arms around him, just looking up and talking to him. And Creech is like giving, well, hey, that's great. That one over there, that's way to go, man.
Yeah. Right. I've got a big surprise for everybody. It's going to be so exciting.
Yes.
Everybody's going to love it.
Are you going to be able to do it while you hold on to me, or should we walk?
No, I guess I should let go.
Ugh. Hey, thanks for the hug, buddy.
You're welcome. You hungry? I am.
And you can kind of see some of the features, these once very monstrous features. You've gotten to know Creech, and the way he looks is very opposite of the way that he actually is. And so one of the new things that you have noticed about him is that his eyes seem to be very recessed, like maybe he hasn't gotten just a whole lot of sleep. And but he's still being very, nice about everything. But he's like, yeah, sure. I'm gonna go see the prince. If you can point me where I need to go.
He might not be awake. You should wake him up. He was working really hard yesterday.
That sounds like something I could do. You just tell me where to go.
Yeah, right over there. That's my aunt's house.
Perfect. Your aunt's house. Oh, it's lovely. Was the fence behind your aunt's house by any chance?
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I bet she's really thankful for that third post from the left. That's good. It looks
Definitely
good.
is.
Very good. Well, I'm going to go wake him up.
All right.
When you find the prince, he is laid on a couch of sorts, more like a bench with a blanket on him. His head hanging off one end, his leg off the other. He's got one arm over his chest, other arm hanging over out from under the blanket, and he is sawing logs, snoring.
Creech would sneak up to him, and I'm seeing like his head dangling off backwards. And Creech would bend down real low and put his face next to the prince's upside down face. And he would just sit there and wait and kind of breathe on the prince, hoping to kind of the prince to wake up normally. But when he opens his eyes to see Creech's face right in front of him, but upside down.
You stay there for a couple of minutes, and right when you're just like, I can't stay in this position for too much longer, this kid isn't going to wake up, he starts to stir, opens his eyes, and he's looking right into your mouth. Rolls over, falls off of the couch, gets up, he's got the blanket's falling over his head, he crawls out from under the blanket, actually goes backwards out of the blanket, and sees you still bent or down on your haunches at the end of where his head was. Oh, Mr. Creech, don't do that to me. You don't want to kill me before our task is finished, do you? Oh my!
I was just about to say, I was just about to wake you up myself. By the way, the craftsmanship on that post, it's beautiful.
And he is just beaming when there's a moment of, well, basically the look that you taught him, that discretion. And you watch him sit back a bit and realizes. And he smiles. Whether you mean it or not, Master Creech, thank you.
Well, I might be a little sarcastic, but your progress is great, and that's the truth. Now, Fan, he's very excitable. What have you guys been doing out here? I heard you said that you survived in the woods and you helped build the fence. That's good. He's got a lot of energy, though. You're supposed to wear him down a little bit, like your wolf. Otherwise, they have too much energy and they're just all over the place. You have to, play with them and walk them and get them tired. What?
I feel as though he's in his element out here, and I don't just mean in the wood. Around these people, doing good things for other people. I really believe that if there is anybody in this kingdom who is truly good to the core, well, I almost wonder what it would have been like to have been taught by him first. He is very much as I used to be.
Fan is a good man. And
yes.
That's not to say that the way that you are now and that I have always been, or the way that those with a discerning eye, that's not to say that we are not good people, but there's a certain innocence in Fan, and that innocence is what breeds the good in his heart. Don't take a man like that for granted.
I don't think I could. It's the innocence. It seems sincere. He comes across it naturally.
That's the kind of guy he is. And at this, even maybe while the prince might be trying to say something else to him, he pulls that little wooden box from his pocket, and he becomes sort of affixed on it again. And he looks up at the prince, and he just kind of nods, and he walks over to the bench that the prince was sleeping on, and kind of turns his back to him and opens it back up, and again kind of starts rifling through it.
A couple hours later, we finally start getting Jokar coming into town?
Well, he noticing all the townsfolk and all that good stuff. Him. Kind of in almost a new part of an island. He's been here a few times, but not a lot. Um, asking them, pretty much if they've seen the prince or seen. Well, he doesn't call him the prince. He asked them if they've seen a fellow of, being accompanied by a very energetic, barefooted man. Um, he you know he heads off towards the cabin where I guess would be where Than's aunt lives. Uh, he
At this point, it's about 10 o'clock. Fan, what are you doing at 10 o'clock?
Now Than is cooking.
Ah. So do a quick little investigation for me there, Jakar.
Alrighty. D20. Let me get my. I don't think I have investigation as a skill, do I? I do not, but that is a flat 10.
Okay.
Well, 11, but
You will find your way on down, asking for Than, and a lot of people. There are people who go, and you watch them as they're processing it, and they don't quite get it. Finally, you run across somebody who goes, "Oh, yes, he's here in town with his aunt," and points you in the right direction. And the closer you get to his aunt's house, the more that you are starting to smell something very tasty.
well, as he gets closer, he kind of chuckles. Not really in that much of a mind of what's going on around. The smell of the cooking still makes him just like, can't wait to get, because if this is Than cooking, he's like, well, at least we won't starve on the road. He's more, in a daze of, the few days that he got to spend with his wife. But when he comes at more onto the property, he'll, not really knowing how he should go about, entering coming to a stranger's place, and he'll slowly start following the smell, because he thinks if he follows the smell, he'll find somebody.
All right. You come to a house. It's not very big at all, but the smell is obviously coming from inside this house.
Once Jokar gets to about the porch of the house, he'll call out, "Hello in there!"
The door opens, and standing in front of you is Prince Aeryn, who is smiling broadly. "Master Jokar, it is good to see you." Over his shoulder, you can see, sitting in the room on the far side on a bench, is Creech looking at a box.
Jokar, he kind of nods. And I says, "So, how was your evening, or how was your, I guess, time with Than?"
Oh, it was very good. Very good. I learned quite a bit about real generosity, and how to take care of myself, and how to take care of others. It was very enlightening.
Those are
yes.
those are very kingly traits to pick up, especially from Than. Than strikes me as somebody that when he tells you he's going to do something, he shall do it. Kind of one you can trust. entrust your life with.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I agree with that very much. Well, come on in. Come on in.
And with that, he kind of stomps his boot on the steps to knock any dirt off, not to track in anything. Uh, when he does so, he kind of smiles because he realizes not a lot of people do that, and he knows why he does it. And he'll follow the prince on inside the house.
Hey, who's at the door?
It's Master Jukar!
Oh, hey, Jokar!
Hey, Than.
And Than is just shouting from the other room.
And go ahead.
I was just going to say he shakes his head, kind of walking to where Thane is, and leans against the doorway. Kind of just to stand there and look at him. And he says, "So, how'd the prince do?" And on his own.
I did great. He's great. He got lost a little bit, but he's been in a castle and he's been out in the woods with other people, but being on his own, it's probably a bit different for him. But he did great.
I said, so which woods did you take him to?
Oh, we go all over. My camp's about 2 hours from here, though. We mostly stayed there.
Well, no, it was as long as he wasn't in any true danger, but
Eh,
we want to teach him, not we want to teach him to learn, not teach him and stumble across something he shouldn't in the forest. If you get my drift.
I taught him which ones were poisonous.
Yeah. That'll do it too. So what are you cooking?
It's a surprise.
And he, knowing the rules of a cook's kitchen, he kind of just moves away and walks back into where Creech is.
There are tons of vegetables and meats in there. That's really key.
Yeah, well, he kind of nods his head and like he understands, like kind of understanding what he's attempting to cook, but he's just like people call it different things, and and he walks to a chair and pulls it out, and he'll sit down, and he was like, "We're missing one short person in this room. Has Thane not got here yet?"
No.
Well, no, I was generally asking that to,
Oh.
yeah, well, it's fine. I hear Phantom, no.
No, he's not here yet. Have you seen him?
I says, I've not heard him.
Well,
I says, I'm sure when he's ready, he'll make himself known.
all right. And with that, 2 more hours later, Thane comes walking into town.
Okay. Thane has gotten lost with his one initiative, and he comes barreling out of the woods and falls down. And he's like, "Blasted sodding tree! There's been a road for a millennium, and does not one village believe in a road? No, let's just stick a place out in the blooming wilds and then draw it on a map. Now go there." And he gets up and is pulling twigs, and he turns around to the bush and just starts swinging on the bush and gets his cloak caught. "If I had my way, I would burn you all down." Blasted shrieking mushrooms, and now a bush, everything that wants to stab you, stick you, or sting you. He's walking into town, trying to straighten himself up, and he's looking. Let's see. They didn't tell me where I was supposed to be going. Well, I guess I'll just start knocking on doors. Eventually, somebody will point me in the blooming direction I'm supposed to be going. And Thane will start knocking on people's doors.
All right, the very first door opens right up to you, and there's a woman who has a baby on her hip, an apron on, her sleeves rolled up to her elbows. Well, hello, can I help you?
Yes, good evening, good midwife. I am looking for a half elf, a very happy, tall human, another human, and a little one.
A little one?
Yes, teenager, maybe.
Oh, okay. You mean Than and his apprentice? Yeah, well, he's down 4 more houses on the left.
Well, thank you.
A good day to you, sir.
And good day to you too. Why don't they just they couldn't have told me where I would needed to go, but no, I have to knock on people's door all. And he will walk in. He will rap on the door that the woman. What the woman told him. Very hard rap, waiting for somebody.
4 houses down on the left.
Yes. I hope this is the place.
Door opens, and you see the prince. Finally, you're here. Master Thane, it's so good to see you. You're a little late. Master Thane has been making us wait for lunch for you to get here. But as you can see, Master Creech and Master Jokar are already here. We received letter. We don't believe that Master Lot will be here for this meal, but he says that he's taking care of important business. So this should make it all of us. Master Thane, we're all here.
Oh, great! I'll be in there in a minute.
And he shuts the door, and I take, and with a very, iron grasp he takes a hold of the prince's hand and stops him. When you become king, you will put roads, clearly marked roads, to all the cities and villages and hamlets. Promise me this. Take an oath.
And you watch him as he scrutinizes you. He's looking in to try to tell if you're being serious.
Yes. And he reaches into his belt pouch, and he pulls out this stone that is covered in dwarven runes, and he says, "Swear, the oath, there will be roads."
Just, and he takes your hand and he closes your fingers around the stone. He says, "Master Thane, I swear to you, I will do my best."
And he'll narrow his eyes a minute and is playing with one of his beard braids. I accept.
Than at this point is walking in with a huge pot. Hey guys, I've got the best surprise for everyone. And he drops this heavy pot on a dining table. My aunt's noodles! We got noodles!
Noodles?
Noodles!
Incredible!
There's
What with
vegetables?
Don't tell me there's more eggs.
Yeah, I actually fried some eggs, and I like to put fried eggs on top of mine. If you don't want some, I'll eat yours.
Fried eggs it is.
And Thane gets really happy. What ale goes with it? And he puts his backpack up and starts pulling out different labeled ale. I brought them. I didn't know which one.
Probably any of them. They're noodles. They're great. They go with anything.
A
Except for
mixture.
sweet potatoes. Never put sweet potatoes in them. Just doesn't work. All right, dig in.
Jokari stands up and sits at the moves to the table and takes a bowl and gets him a bowlful.
As you grab the bowl, before you can begin to ladle it out, the prince comes up to the bowl, to the big pot, and asks you to go ahead and take a seat. I'll serve you.
He nods. Jokari nods. He says, "As you wish."
And he begins to ladle out this noodle mixture into one of your bowls. And we'll do the same for all of you.
Than just has a very approving look on his face. He's quite pleased. And then he quickly digs in after putting a fried egg on top.
So let's let everybody else, other than Than, tell us what they were doing. In the conversation, you talk about what you've been doing over the past 2 or 3 months. So since you came in first, Creech, we'll keep that same initiative. Go ahead and tell us what you've been doing over the past couple of months.
All right. So Creech, just kind of, are we supposed to do this like in a conversation, or can I just tell you?
If you guys want to do it as part of a conversation, I'm totally cool with that. Or if you just want to give us a quick rundown, that's good too.
I think if anybody else wants to do the conversation, I will participate. However, Evermind is, I'm just going to give you the overview. He has been back home, essentially, in his woods. Before he ever found that note, he had been working on something. And he knew he needed to be back around his supplies to be able to finish it. And he lets you all know, and kind of has this vial that he takes the mug after, before any wine or ale or anything like that gets poured into it. He takes the vial and dumps its contents into it, and then from that little wooden box, he actually pulls out this, it looks almost like a tablet of some sort, and he kind of shows it to everybody, and then he drops it in, and as soon as he does, it starts fizzing, and it doesn't seem to stop at all. And he says, and this is kind of what he's been doing. He has been mastering some of the alchemical secrets that his father left tucked away in a journal long, long ago. But yeah, he has just been figuring out specifically how to make these concoctions, or basically there are different things. Not all of them, he said, not all of them are to be consumed. Some of them are applied to the skin. Some are inhaled, at least the ones that I've mastered. But the findings, they have been very, very interesting. Sometimes, it turns out great, but there always seems to be drawbacks. But that's kind of what he's been doing. He's been getting a handle on creating some concoctions that seem to give him perks as well as some negative edges.
Wonderful. Jakar.
Well, when the prince hands him his bowl and the dwarf hands him the ale, he sets it in front of him. and for a brief moment he goes silent. Um, before he looks back up, acting, uh, you know, he would say that he's mostly been hanging around. He traveled back to his farm, back to handle some of the things that his wife could not handle, could not do without him being there. Uh, fixing some of the shoeing a horse,